Okay. All right, so here we are. We are on the second part. Let me jump to where we are. We are on I'm going to pick it up on number 11 again. Even though we started number 11, I want to pick it up there again. The game plan for today is to do number 11 and 12, which shouldn't be too bad. I think they're pretty easy. And then we have these two deeper questions at the very end about some Alaska temperatures. And then this one's going to be the major use of our time, the basketball one. That's going to be the hardest example. I want to go slow on that, spend some good quality time. It'll kind of review everything we've done in this section and really get you ready for your exam. So that's the plan. And then after we finish that, I'm thinking all that'll take maybe 45 minutes. Then we'll break and you guys will be able to work on your in-class assignment. Miss Jones has made for you an assignment that is due by 1:20 today, by the end of class today. And so that'll be the last thing we do after we finish these examples. We'll break into groups and work on that, and I'll bounce around and help you with that. So that's the plan. It's the plan for today. So let's pick it up on number 11. If you have your notes from number 11, I did start it last time, but I'm going to, just begin it fresh again since we only got partway through it. Here we go. As usual, stop me with questions. If you have them, speak up or put them in the chat box. Either way is good. The semester grade in a class in stats is determined by the scores on 5 100-point exams. Steady Sue scored 8, those scores, which are all around 82. And Erratic Ernie got those scores, which are all pretty similar also. So that was on 5 exams. All right. So again, if you just came here, this is Mrs. Jones, Math 45 class. I'm the sub. I'm Mr. Heron. I'm the sub for Miss Jones' Math 45 class today. All right, so we have Sue and Erratic Ernie, Steady Sue and Erratic Ernie. Here we go. Calculate the mean and the median for each of the students. So let's start over here again with Ernie's mean. And so what's a mean? You guys remember?
The lowest number?
That's the middle?
Average.
Oh, wait.
Average.
Yeah, average. Yeah, it's another word for average. And that'd be a good thing to make note of. It's average. It's another word for average. And so we want to look at Ernie's numbers right here. There's his test scores. And we want to figure out the average, also called the mean, for Ernie on his 5 exams. So how do you figure out the average of 5 numbers?
You take the middle one?
That'll be the median. We'll do that in a minute when we get to the median.
Oh, you add them all up and divide by 5.
Beautiful. Exactly. It's the total over n, total over, let's just say, the number of values, isn't it? It's the total. So you're going to add them up, 59. I'm trying to not run out of room here. 59, 73, 82, 97, 99 divided by 5. So, and make sure when you do it on your calculator. In fact, let me just do it this way. Remember to hit equals before you hit divide by 5. Remember how we talked about that? You've got to hit equals. That if you don't hit equals, if you just type into your calculator divide by 5 like that, then it'll only divide the last number by 5. So if you just came here, this is Miss Jones, Mrs. Jones. I keep calling her Miss Jones, Mrs. Jones, Math 45. I'm the sub, Mr. Heron, for today. So okay, so remember if you hit divide by 5 without hitting the equals, it's only going to divide the very last number by 5. And that's not what we want. So remember to hit equals. That way it'll add them all up and then hit divide by 5 and hit equals again. So I'm doing it right now with my calculator. And I'm getting, the answer is 82. Did you guys get that for Ernie's mean or Ernie's average?
Yes.
So that's Ernie's average. That's how he did on the test on average. So next we're going to do Sue's. Sue's mean, Sue's average. So again, we take the total for Sue over the number of values. And what's the total for Sue? We got to add them all up. So I'm going to go 82 plus 82 plus 81 plus 82 plus 83. Then remember to hit equals and then divide by 5 and then equals, right? So again, what you get is another 82, huh? So they both have the same mean. They both have the same average. Now, next, we want to find the median. How do we find the median for Ernie? We're going back to Ernie, erratic Ernie. How do we find the median?
You put the numbers in order and then you go to the number in the middle.
Beautiful. So Ernie's median, you put them low to high, you put them in order, low to high. So I'll have to bring it down here. It's like I'm running out of room. In fact, I hope you guys don't mind if I forgot. Let me erase it. If you got it copied down, that's good. I'll rewrite it for you in just a second. Let me, I should have done this earlier. Let me just bring it down to a fresh page where I've got a little more room so we can work this out. I forgot I was going to do that last time. Oops. There we go. Okay, so I'll bring it down here for us. And there we go. Okay, a little more room here now. Let me redo what I did real quick. Again, so we have Ernie's average, or Ernie's mean, which is the average, which is Ernie's scores added up. 59 plus 73 plus 82 plus 97 plus 99, hit equals, divide by 5 equals, and that comes out 82. And then we got Sue's mean, which is her average, which is her numbers added up. 82, 82, 81, 82, 83. Hit equals to get the total, and then divide by 5 equals, and we get the same answer. They both have the same mean, and then we go on to median. So now I'll do Ernie's median. So median, yeah, you're totally right. Step 1, put in order low to high, huh? So you got to put them in order low to high. So so for Ernie, let's put them in order. Well, they can't, I think they already are. So right here, Ernie's numbers, 59, 73, 82, 97. Yeah, they're already in order, aren't they? From low to high. And then you, step 2, grab the 1 in the middle. So which one is in the middle? 82 again, huh?
Yes.
So we're getting a lot of 82 answers here. So the median for Ernie is 82. Last, we want to do Sue's median. Step 1, order low to high. So we're going to put Sue's numbers in order from low to high. Let's grab them. Now, what's the lowest number in Sue's list?
The median?
We'll start. We have to start with the lowest number.
Oh, okay. So it's 82. Wait. Lowest number. No. The lowest number is 81.
There we go. 81. And then we have 3 82s and an 83, huh? Is everybody good with us? That's why that first step is very important when you're finding a median. You've got to put them in order from low to high, like that. It doesn't matter for average, huh? Up here when I did the average, who cares, right? I didn't bother to put them in order for the mean, right? We didn't care at all. But for the median, it matters. You have to put them in order from low to high. And Ernie's were already in the right order, but Sue's, we had to reorder them, didn't we? And then step 2, you grab the one in the middle. Which one's in the middle?
82.
Well, another 82. What a surprise, huh? So 82. But look what would have happened. Here's the mistake that many of my students have made over the years. They'll forget to put these in order. They'll grab the one in the middle and they'll get the wrong answer. See how that would have been 81? That would have been wrong. So the median is the one in the middle when you're ordering them from low to high. Do you get the idea? It's another way of finding the middle of a data set, but you got to put them in order if you're gonna do that. All right, we good there? Questions so far? So we got.
So,
yeah.
if there were 6 numbers here, wouldn't we do it different with the?
Yeah. Yeah. What
different-
if there's 6 numbers? What do you have to do in that case?
You have to add the 2 in the center and divide by 2.
That's right. Let me write that. Beautiful. We had an odd number of numbers, didn't we? But if you have an even amount, then what you have to do is grab the 2 in the middle. If you grab the 2 in the middle, add them and divide by 2. In other words, find the average by adding them and dividing by 2. That's right. So if we would have had 6 numbers for these data sets, 6 test scores, then we would have had to grab the 2 in the middle, add them and divide by 2, averaging them. That's right. So when you have an odd number of numbers, then there's only one number in the middle. See how 82 is the very middle? There's 2 on this side and 2 on that side. But if you have an even amount, you have 2 in the middle. Grab them, add them, and divide by 2. That's right. All right, let's go back. Good question. Let's now they're asking the range. Sue's range and Ernie's range. I'll jump up here for number 12. So it's asking the range. How do we figure out the range of a data set?
You get the maximum number and minus from the minimum.
Beautiful. It's the max minus the min, the highest minus the lowest. That's right. Because the range means the total spread. How far from the lowest to the highest? That's right. So let's go back then and let's start with Mr. Ernie. What's Ernie's range? Here's Ernie's test scores up there. So what's Ernie's max?
99.
99. What's Ernie's min?
59.
59. He really had a high and a low, didn't he? F and an A. 40. If you subtract that, you get 40. So that's Ernie's range is 40. And now we'll do Sue's.
So what do they mean by the range? I mean, what does that represent?
That represents how far from the lowest to the highest. So for Ernie, his lowest score was 59 and his highest was 99. So that means he covered a distance of 40 points between those two. His scores changed by 40 points, 4 whole grades. That's how erratic Ernie was. He went from an F to an A, which is great actually. So the range shows how much variation there is in Ernie's numbers. How about for Sue? How much variation in Sue's numbers? We want her max minus her min. What's Sue's max numbers? So
83.
83. Yeah, her highest score is 83, isn't it? What's her lowest score?
81.
81. So what's Sue's range?
Two.
Yeah, good. Good. Yep. I saw you guys had it in the chat box too. Good job. Exactly. It's just 2. So Sue's range is only 2. So that means Sue only varies by 2 points. That's why she's called Steady Sue, right? Because her scores are almost always the same. She hardly varies at all. She only changed by 2 points. Whereas Ernie, he changed by 40 points. That makes sense? So the point of this example is they all had the same middle. Notice the middle, whether you call it the mean or the median, was 82 for everybody. All of them had a middle of 82. Ernie and Sue, their mean and their median. They all had an average, a middle of 82, but there was a lot more variation in Ernie's numbers. His numbers changed by a range of 40. Sue's only changed by 2. All right, good. Let's move on. I think it's important that we spend some good time on number 1 and number 2. This Alaska example. So they're giving us on this question. It says the following is a list of high temperatures for 8 days in Alaska. That's the high. It's not like Fresno, is it? We had a high of -2 today. The highest high is a 9. It hit 9 degrees. That's like sunbathing weather, right? I guess in Alaska, that's a high for them, 9 degrees. Find the 5-number summary, box plot, range, and interquartile range. Basically, find everything in the world on this question. All right, well, let's find everything in the world. So how do we find a 5-number summary? Remember the summary?
Is this where they want the minimum, the maximum, the Q1, the Q3, and the mean?
And the median in the middle.
And the median, that's it.
Yeah, right. Let me write that out. Min, then Q1, median, Q3, maximum. That's the 5-number summary. It's those 5 things. Yeah, well done. Exactly. So those are the 5 things they want. So let's do it piece by piece. Let's start with the minimum. What's the minimum of this set of numbers?
-7.
Yeah. -7. That was the high one day. Isn't that crazy? What's the maximum?
9.
9. Yeah, we'll take care of those right away. Those are easy. That's the highest number and the lowest number in the data set, right? Now for Q1, the median, and Q3, it's a little harder, isn't it? How do we find, let's start with Q1. How do we find Q1?
You have to first list that number set in order.
Right.
You do that for this?
Very good. Very good. In fact, let's do that over here. First, reorder Low to high. I almost forgot about that. Excellent job. Yeah, you're going to have to put them in order from low to high, huh? Now, let's do it. Let's start. What's the lowest number in the list?
Negative
Negative
7.
7.
Seven.
Then
And
negative
I
5.
suggest we cross them off as we go, or underline them, or circle them, or whatever you want. Next comes
Negative 5.
negative 5.
Negative 2.
Then
Negative 2.
negative 2. Next is what?
4.
4.
4. Good.
5.
5.
7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9. Beautiful. 7, 8, 9. Now you want to double check. You know, on an exam especially, you don't want to accidentally drop one. So I would just count them. It says 8 days. There's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do we have 8 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, looks good. Looks like I didn't drop any or lose any. So that's the first step. We need to reorder the numbers low to high. There they are. Okay. Now let's get back to Q1. How am I going to find Q1?
You're gonna divide 25 by 100 times 8.
Nice. Right. I've got to find the 25th percentile, don't I? That's right, because that's what Q1 means, right? It means end of Q1. Let me write it here for you to be super clear. Q1 means the end of the first quarter. So like if you're watching a football game or a basketball game and it's the end of the first quarter, you know that means the game is 25% over, huh? So that's what Q1 is. It's 25%. At Q1 is the end of the first quarter. So the game is 25% over. It's the 25th percentile. So we're going to use the percentile formula. Remember the percentile formula? So that's what we got up here in the notes. I'm going to go, I'll mention it and then I'll write it down here. Here's what we're going to use. Remember this stuff? There's Mrs. Jones's much nicer writing. There it is. P over L equals P over 100 times N. And then we have to do this, right? That's how we find a percentile. And Q1 is a percentile. It's a 25th percentile, right? So let's go down and do it. Whoops, I'm on the wrong spot. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go L equals P over 100 times N. So that'll be P. What's P?
The
25.
quarter.
The 25, yeah. 25 over 100 times N. And what's N here?
The values.
It's 8. Yeah, 8 N equals 8. N is the total number of values. Yeah, 8. So if we do that, take that on your calculator, you'll get 2, I think, right? And so that's a whole number, isn't it? It's not a decimal. Well, what do we do when we get a whole number?
You add the number in the second spot with the number to the next to it, and I forgot it.
Yeah, good job. Exactly. So remember, this is a locator, right? So this means second spot. So the answer is not 2. It means go to the second spot, doesn't it? Go
Yes.
take second spot and you go plus. So we're going to go to the second spot and the next spot, add the two numbers. Add the two numbers, hit equals, and divide by 2, right? So if you just came in, this is Mrs. Jones, Math 45 class. I'm the sub, Mr. Heron. So I'm going to go to the number in the second spot. That's right there. I'm going to grab that number and the next number. So -5, add -2, hit equals, divide by 2. The answer comes out to be what? -3.5. That's Q1. Is that coming out okay? Do you guys know how to do the negatives on your calculators okay?
Yep.
It's different on every calculator. Usually it's a minus sign with parentheses around it. Most calculators, the negative is different than the subtraction. It usually is a minus sign, like with little it depends on the calculator. They're all a little different, but often it's a minus sign with little parentheses around it. Sometimes it's a plus minus toggle button. Sort of depends. Hang out afterwards if you want help with the calculator on any of that stuff.
Night, I have one of my calculators. I grabbed my phone.
Well, you're using your phone. I'm not sure if Mrs. Jones allows you to use the phone on the test. I don't know. So you'll have to.
You don't.
Yeah. So, right. So you're going to have to be able to get it on a calculator. All right. And Fresno City College does give out free calculators for rent. For free rent. You can use it check it out for the semester if you don't have one. Anyway, is that good for Q1? Everybody see how we got Q1 there? All right, let's move on. Let's go now and do the median. How are we going to find the median next?
You add the 4th and 5th spots.
Yeah, the median is the same thing. What if you're in the middle? Median means middle. If you're in the middle of a football game or basketball game, what percent of the game is over?
50%.
Yeah, that's the 50th percentile. You guys getting the hang of these percentiles?
Oh yeah.
So median is the middle of the game or the data set or whatever, you know? So yeah, so now we're going to do median, which is 50 percentile. So same formula again, right? We're going to use L is P over 100 times N, same exact formula that we always use for percentile. So P is 50 over 100 times N. N is still 8, and this comes out to be 4. It's a whole number. And so it's not a decimal. So what do? We take that 4 and we go 4th spot. Remember, it's a locator. That's the mistake my students have made in the past, is they'll think 4 is the answer. Remember this, it says L. L stands for locator. It helps you locate. It's like if I said to you guys, hey, go to the local high school and open the 4th locker. You'll find the clue there. You know, I'm telling you the spot. The answer is not 4. It's the location. It's the 4th spot. So grab the 4th spot and the next spot. Remember how we always do this when we get a whole number, is we go back to our data list and I grab the number in the 4th spot, which happens to be a 4, and the next spot. See what I'm doing up there? Going back to the data list that we had reordered from low to high. And you grab the number in the fourth spot and the next spot. That's 4 and 5. Add them, hit equals, and divide by 2. Notice you take the average of those two numbers. So that's going to be 4 plus 5, it equals, divide by 2. The answer comes out to be 4.5, doesn't it? Are we good there? For the median, 4.5? So right there, 4.5 for the median. All right, we got to do the Q3. Q3. And that is what percentile is that?
75.
Right, because if you're into the third quarter, you're at the 75th percentile. Q3 means the end of the third quarter. So if I'm watching a football game or basketball game, Q3 is the end of the third quarter. That means you're 75% of the way through the game. Same formula again. Anytime you have percentile, same formula. P over 100 times N. Plug in the 75 for your P. Times N, which is still 8. That comes out 6. Is this making sense? Am I going too fast? Questions? I can answer on anything so far. See how this is the same thing every time for Q1, the median, and Q3. That's just 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile. They're all percentiles, aren't they? Q1 is the end of the first quarter, 25% of the way through the game. The median's halftime, halfway through the game, 50 percentile. Q3 is the end of the third quarter, 75% of the way through the game. So in all three cases, they're percentiles, which means you plug into the formula P over 100 times N every time. All right, and then I get 6, and what do? It's a whole number. And so when you get that whole number, you remember what that means. You come over here and you say it's the 6th spot. Remember, the answer is not 6. It's a locator. That's what L stands for. It says go look in the 6th locker. And you take the 6th spot and the next spot. So it's not just one number. You've got to get 2 numbers. And you've got to add them. It equals and divide by 2. So we got to go up here now, get the 6th number. So
7.
yeah, right there, huh? The 6th number, which is a 7, and the next number, which is an 8, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what got me on Omar.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering, like, how I do that.
Yeah. I'm glad you chimed in about the homework. Yeah, is this making sense, guys? Do you see how this works? And gals, guys and gals?
Yep.
So grab the 6th number and the next number. We always grab that spot and the next. So that'd be a 7 and an 8. So we're going to add 7 plus 8. It equals, divide by 2. I think we get 7.5, right? And so that is the Q3. All right. Is that good so far? We're almost done with this example. Okay, so now we've done the lion's share of the work. The 5 number summary. We've got the 5 numbers. That is the 5-number summary. We've got that. Next, box plot. How do we make a box plot? Let's come on down here. So let me write the 5 number summary. And what was that? That was -7, -3.5. So I'm just going to write it down here. -7, -3.5, 4.5, 7.5, and the 9, right? That was the minimum, the Q1, the median, the Q3, and the maximum. So there they are. Now they want us to make a box plot. Remember how a box plot works? So we draw a number line. This is going to be for the temperatures. And the temperatures are going to go from a low of -7. So I'll put like -7 right here.
Is that where the whiskers go? The
Yeah,
minimum and the
yeah,
maximum?
that's right, that's right. And then I'm just going to count it down. This will be what, -6. Or what if I could go 2 spots? Probably not. 5 minus 4 minus 3 minus 2 minus 1. Maybe I can. Okay, here. I'm going to try to go a little more space here. So I'll just go -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, it came out perfect. This is a good day for me. That was quite lucky. All right. All right. So I'm doing the number line. Notice I went from the lowest to the highest, right? And so now we're going to put the box right above it. How does the box go? Remember, it always goes from, so yeah, this will be the whisker. Like you guys were saying, that's the whisker. And that's the whisker, the low and the high, the lowest value, the highest value, the lowest, the highest. And then you put the box from Q1 to Q3, right? So -3.5, which would be right here, to +7.5, which is right here. And so you draw a box. Well, try to do a little bit better job than that. Let me use my tool. Draw a box like that. See how that box is going right here from -3.5 to right there, +7.5. See how this is the min, this is the max. This right here is the Q1. This right here is the Q3. And then the median, 4.5, that's right there. And then you just draw the little whisker like that, line going up and down. There it is. There's the box plot for the temperatures in Alaska, the high temps in Alaska.
I should have did it on graph paper. That would have made it a lot easier.
Yeah. Is that good? So you see how a box plot goes, you know, from the whisker to the whisker, high and low, and then Q1, this edge right here is Q1, this edge is Q3. And remember what a box plot does. She's not requiring this right now, but remember what a box plot does. It tells you that 25% of all the values are in this region, 25% in this region, 25% in this region, and 25% in that region, huh? 1/4, it's like a football game or basketball game. 1/4 of all the values are in those different zones. So you don't have to put those 25% on the graph. They're not really part of it. I'm just reminding you what it means. All right, let's get back to the question. So what else do we got here? We did the box plot. She wants the range and the interquartile range. We're almost done with this one. So range, remember what range is?
The max minus the minimum.
Yep, just max minus min, huh? So that's just going to be 9 minus negative. So, oh, be careful. Double negative, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you know that means add, right? Subtracting a negative, double negative means add. And that makes sense. How far from -7 all the way to 9? Well, it's 16. Because from -7 to 0, that's 7 right there, isn't it? And then from 0 to 9, that's another 9. That's another 9. So 9 and 7, that's a total range of 16 from the lowest temperature of -7 to the highest of +9. That's a range of 16. 9 plus 7, 16. That jumped up 16 degrees, didn't it? Good there. And then the last question is, what is the inner how did she say? Did she say IQR or did she say interquartile? Interquartile range, okay. Yeah, she said find the inner quartile range. So how do we find the inner quartile range? Anybody remember that one?
Is that a Q3 minus Q1?
Beautiful. Yeah, it's Q3 minus Q1. In other words, it's how wide the box is. Right? It's the Q3 minus Q. It's the middle part of the box. So you got to take your Q3 value minus your Q1 value, which is -3.5. So again, we've got subtracting a negative. So you know how to do that. Plus 3.5, which is 11. All right, we're done with that example, and I'm wanting to get on to the next one because the next one's super important. But before I race ahead, are there any questions on this example? Anything I can answer? You guys good with the box plot and everything we did up here for the finding the 5-number summary? Okay, I'm going to move right ahead. Looks like you all are good because I want to do a good job. The most important example is this last one. It's the hardest for people. So I want to show it to you. All right. This is the last one, and then we'll have our in-class project. So let's do a good job on this one. A group of people played a game in which each person threw a basketball 20 times from the same place on court. They scored a point each time they made a basket. The results are in the following frequency table. So score 4, frequency twice. What does that mean? What does frequency mean? It means how many, huh? So what that means is there were 2 4s. I can make this a little bigger for us. What that means is there were 2 people got 4 points out of 20. And 3 people got 7 out of 20. And 2 people got 9 out of 20. And 3 people got 14 out of 20. That's pretty good. 5 people got 16 out of 20 baskets. 3 people got 19 out of 20, and 1 person got all 20 in. So that's what the frequent, and that's the trick. Mrs. Jones wanted me to particularly remind you guys that you will have this kind of a question on the exam, meaning frequencies. So you do have to know what the frequencies mean. They mean how many of those. That's all they mean. But it's helpful, I think, to write them out like we just did. Now let's get on with the questions. How many people played the game? How are we going to answer that? How many people played the game?
So there's 5, 10, 18, 19. 19 people played.
How'd you come up with that?
I added all of the frequency together.
Beautiful. So everybody see that? We just need to add up this group of numbers on your calculator. What is it? 5, 7, 10, 8, yeah, 19. 19 people. Because the frequency is how many people, right? It means 2 people got a score of 4. 3 people got a score of 7. 2 people got a score of 9, etc. It always means how many people did that thing. Frequency means how many. That's what frequency means. Whenever you see frequency in a data problem, it always means how many did that thing. So there must be 19 people in this game. Next question. Good. What were the range of scores? Okay, now we just did range. Remember how we figure out range?
Yeah, max minus minimum.
Yeah, range is max minus min. So what is the maximum?
16. Oh, the maximum is 20 minus 4.
Exactly. So the range is 16. Does everybody see that? The highest score that somebody got was 20, and the lowest score somebody got was 4. So the range, how far from the lowest to the highest, is 16. Good. All right. Next, part C. Find the average score. Ooh, how are we going to do that?
Do you multiply the score by the frequency?
Yeah.
That's the mean, right?
Right. Yeah. Average means mean. Exactly. Average is mean. Good job. Average is mean. Yeah. How do we? Well, you guys know how to find the average of a bunch of numbers, right? You just add them all up. So if I take all these numbers and add them all up and then divide by how many numbers are there? Remember, there's
7. Oh, at the frequency, you mean?
Right. Well, yeah. Well, there's going to be a total of 19 numbers here, right? Because the frequency tells you how many, right? There's 2 4s, 3 7s, 2 9s. See, the frequency number tells you how many. So all
But we have 7 scores.
There's 7 different scores, but there's 19 total scores.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So we don't just care about how many different scores. 19 people actually got these various scores.
So we add the frequency, like 4 plus 4, and then 7 plus 7, add it all together, right?
Right, because that's how we find an average, right? So an average means add up all scores, hit equals, and divide by 19, right? Because there's 19 total scores, aren't there? That's how we always do an average. Like if you have 3 test scores and you want to know your average in the class, you would add them up and divide by 3, right? So that's how we figure out an average. So I need to add up all these numbers up here, all these, and divide by 19. But what would be the quickest way? What's a quick way to add up 5 16s?
16 times 5.
Yeah, just multiply by 5. So that's what somebody was saying earlier. That's right. The quick way is to just multiply by the frequency. Does that make sense? You see, if you just take 16 times 5, that's the same as adding 16 5 times, isn't it? So we just go 2 times 4. In fact, let me move it over a little bit more. So we just go 2 times 4, 2 times 4, 3 times 7, 2 times 9, because it's 2 9s, huh? 3 times 14, because it's 3 14s. And it's 5 16s. And it's 3 19s. So this is the quick way to add all these numbers up, is just multiply. There's only one 20. So if we multiply those together, we get what? 8. Use your calculator if you're rusty on some of these times tables. And then these big ones too. 42, I think that's 80. 57, 20, whoops. And then add those up. So this is all to figure out the average. Add all those up on your calculator, which I'm going to do now too. I'm getting 246. And then divide by 19.
12.9.
Here, let me move it over a little bit. And I'm getting 12.947. I don't know how far. It's probably far enough right there. How you guys doing? Is that making sense? Are you getting those values?
Yes.
So do you see how we did that? So this is pretty tricky with a frequency table. So let me write a few more words to be more helpful. So for the average, we, where should I write it here? Let me write it over here. To find the average, multiply each score times frequency, add them up, divide by, add them up and hit equals, and then divide by total of the frequency column. Total, let's just say total of the frequency, total frequency. How about? So that's what we just did.
So would we round that number up or?
Yeah, just round it off, just normal rounding. Nothing, yeah, it's nothing weird like we do for the percentile stuff, just normal rounding. I don't know how many digits of accuracy they want. They didn't say, so I just did 3. So does everybody see that that works? That's the same thing as doing a normal average, right? But except it's how you do an average for a frequency table, right? It's the same thing as adding all these numbers up. We just did it by multiplying. The quick way to add all these numbers up is just to multiply, right? So we just multiplied each number, each score times the frequency right over here, and then added them all up and divided by 19, because that was the total of all the frequencies. That's the total number of scores, total number of people. You good there?
Yes.
Okay, I want to move on to the median. Slow me down if you want to talk more about it. Let's go to the median. So for the median now, and the first quartile and the third quartile, we're going to need to do percentile, right? Median is the 50th percentile, isn't it? It's halfway,
Yes.
it's halftime. So I've got to find the 50th percentile. So let me come down here for median. Median is 50th percentile. Median is 50th percentile. And to find 50th percentile, remember what we do? We use that formula, P over 100. So L equals P over 100 times N. And we plug in the 50. So we get 50 over 100 times N. Now, what's N in this question?
All of the values.
Yeah. How many values are there?
19.
Yeah, that's the 19 still. Is everybody good with that? N equals 19 right here. That's the total of the, so N, let me write that for you. N is the total of the frequency. N is 19. So again, the total of the frequency column is the total number of people, total number of scores. All right, so when we multiply that in our calculator, what do we get, 9.5?
Yes.
Okay, now we're in for something different. So it's good, very good to practice this. This is a decimal, not a whole number. What do you do when the L comes out to be a decimal?
Round up.
Yeah, do you guys remember that? We have to round up. So it's a different procedure. Let me real quickly go back there. I don't want to use up too much time, but I think it's helpful to
You
see.
round up whether it's below the 5 or above the 5.
Yeah, that's right. You see, here's Mrs. Jones' instructions for this percentile. There's the formula we've been using, but see, there's two different things you do. If it comes out to be a whole number, that's what we had on the Alaska example. It always came out to be a whole number, right? So what we would do is we would take the average of that spot and the next spot. That's what she's saying here, L and L plus 1. But if it's not a whole number, if it's a decimal, you round it up and take the data in that position. So that's different, right? So that you got to know that. That's super important. Probably half your grade will hang on you knowing how to use that formula well and the two different versions of that formula. Make sure you know that for the exam. See, look back at this Alaska example. See how when we did the L thing here, we got a whole number. And what do you do when you get a whole number? You take that spot and the next spot. You add them and divide by 2. We went and grabbed the numbers in that spot, right? So the 6th spot and the next spot, which was 7 and 8, added and divided by 2. Right? Is that making sense? But then, so if you just chimed in, this is Mrs. Jones' class, Math 45. I'm Mr. Heron, the sub. All right, so you come on down here, and on this one, we're not getting a whole number. So what do? Round, so L equals 9.5. It's a decimal. It's not a whole number. You round up. Yeah, even if that was 9.1, you round it up to 10. And what? Remember, that's still not the answer. That's the mistake. A lot of my students go, okay, so the answer is 10. No, it's a locator. It's telling you which locker, right? It's saying go find the number in the 10th spot. It's only a pointer. It's a locator. It's like a road sign, right? It's like if you see a road sign which says 20 miles to Fresno, you don't grab that sign and say, I'm in Fresno. I've got the sign that says Fresno. No, it's a sign. It's pointing to Fresno. You follow the sign. That's what the locator is. That's what the L is. It's a sign. It's pointing. It's saying, go find the 10th number in the list. Does that make sense? Let's go find the 10th number. Now, how do you know which number is the 10th number?
So it'd be 14.
14.
because-
Yeah, good job, guys. Let's take a look. Here, I'll write it. Here's the first number, second number, third number, fourth number, fifth number, sixth number, seventh number, eighth number, ninth number, 10th number.
Okay, so that's why I'm nervous at 14 earlier, because she did the other way where you go straight to the middle. She probably wrote them all out and just went to the number in the middle. So
right, that's right, and that's another good way to do it. Yeah, does everybody see how we did that? I found the 10th number in the list by starting the 10th spot, the number in the 10th spot, by starting at the top, right? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. There it is. The 10th number is the last 14, isn't it? The number in the 10th spot, right there. So the answer is, oops, back up here. The answer is 14. All right, that's the number in the 10th spot. Are we good going forward? So do you see how I've written all these out? This is what you want to do when you're given a frequency chart. Because otherwise it'd be hard to tell what the 10th number actually is. I've had students that make the mistake. They go, oh, first number, second number, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. They go, there's only 7 numbers, Mr. Heron. What do you mean 10th number? Well, they're not writing all of this out. That's what you need to do. There's not just 1 4, there's 2 4s, there's 3 7s, there's 2 9s, etc. All right, let's keep going. Let's find the next part here, which is the first quartile. First quartile Q1. So how do we find that?
25 divided by 100 times 19.
Right. It's the 25th percentile, right? Into the first quarter. So if you're watching a football game or basketball game and you're at the end of the first quarter, you know that means you are 25% of the way through the game. So you got to use the same formula. L is P over 100 times N. So that's going to be 25 over 100, plug it in right there, times N. N is still 19. That's the total number of data values. All right, use your calculator. And I'm
4.5, and then you round up and get 5.
Yeah, 4.75. That's right. So L is 4.75. It's a decimal, not a whole number. So what do? We round up. Everybody's seeing the difference. So there's two different ways we deal with the L thing, right? If it comes out to be a whole number, like it did on the Alaska example, then you go grab that number and the next number. You got to get two numbers, add them and divide by 2. But if you come out to be a decimal, you just grab one number. First, you round it up, 5, but then fifth, right? You round it up, but it's still just a locator. So fifth spot, you go find the number in the fifth spot. So what's the number in the fifth spot? What's the
7.
fifth number?
7.
There it is. Everybody see that? That's the fifth number in the list. Right there. There it is. Good. So, good. I'm glad to see you guys are all cranking it out in the chat. So the answer is 7 for that one. That's the fifth number. It's a locator. It's pointing to a locker. All right, one more question. And that is find the third quartile. So let's find the third. So third quartile, into the third quarter, what percentile is that?
The third, 75th. 75th.
Exactly. Oops. '75th percentile. And so, because that's into the third quarter, right, is 75% of the way through a game. So we use the same formula we've been using. PL equals P over 100 times N. P is 75 times N. N is still 19. So L comes out to be 14.25. You guys getting that? 14.25.
Yeah. And then when you round up, you go 15. You go 15 spaces to the right. It's the last number 16 before the 19. And
Good. It's a decimal. So round it up. Yeah, we're only going to get one number. If it comes out to be a whole number, then you go get two numbers, right? That spot and the next spot, and add them and divide by 2. But if you get a decimal, you round it up. And that means we go to 15. So make sure everybody's clear on that. Another mistake I've seen over the years with my students is they'll go, oh, Ms. Taryn, that one rounds to 14, not 15. Remember, we're rounding up. Even 14.1 rounds up to 15. Everything rounds up. We always go up. We don't mean round to the closest. We mean round up. So, but again, this is a spot. It's the 15th spot or the 15th number. The 15 is not our answer yet. Go find the number in the 15th spot. So this is 10. Make this a little bigger for y'all. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There it is. There's the 15th number in the list. See how I've numbered the numbers from 1 through 15 there? The 15th number in the list is the last 16, isn't it?
Yep.
It's the last 16. So the 15th spot equals 16. That is it. Whew. That's a big example. Can you see all that okay? Questions on that one?
Is she going to extend the in-class assignment until later today?
She said something about automatic zeros if you don't finish it by 1:20. I'm joking. That's probably not a funny joke. Yeah, no. We didn't get through it. It's my fault. I went too slow, but I wanted to do a good job on this hard example. So she said that I should just contact her if we ran out of time, and she'll extend it for you guys. So I will send her an email that we ran out of time, even though I was sure we would get to it. So much for I live in a dream world about time, and that happened again. So yeah, I'll let her know. So don't worry about it. She said she would extend it if we ran out of time, which we have. We've only got 2 minutes left, or maybe 3. So
I'm glad you explained that, because I was confused on a couple of the steps there, but I think I got it down now.
Good. Questions I can answer. Yeah, we have a couple of minutes. This is probably the hardest kind of thing you're going to see on the test. These frequency tables. These are pretty confusing. And
I think the only thing that's going to be hard on the test is trying to remember all of the
different things you do.
Yeah, trying to remember it all. Yeah,
especially, good point, Stellan. Yeah, especially this L P over 100 times N formula. Remember the 2 different things we do with that, right? That's the most important thing. If it comes out to be a decimal, what do you do in that case?
Round up.
Round up, and then just go grab the one number in that spot. Remember, it's just a spot. It's not the answer. Then you go to that spot and find the answer. And then what if your L comes out to be a whole number?
You add it to the number next to it and divide by 2.
Exactly. You go grab 2 numbers, that number and the number next to it, add them and divide by 2. Yeah, that's the main thing to keep straight. And then the other thing is on these frequency ones, just write out the numbers. It'll really help you to see it. It means there's 2 4s and there's 3 7s, etc. And then count the numbers through the list when you're trying to find the 10th number or the 15th number or whatever. That'll help you. Yeah, good. Other questions? Well, how about this? It looks like we're out of time. Let me stop the recording, and then I'm glad to hang out for those that have other questions.